What's up, guys? Animega is finally back with the episode 15 review of Duel Monsters. Excuse me. I know it's been a long time. It's been over a month because I injured my wrist and I couldn't really draw very well. So I didn't want to embarrass myself on YouTube in front of you guys. So let's get started. This is episode 15. This is part of the two-parter duel with Yugi and Panic, and this episode's called Winning Through Intimidation. As I said in the last video, this combined with the last episode was like a one-part episode in the old days, but they like 4 or 5 years later they dubbed all of it and went ahead and made it a full two-parter duel. So anyway, let's get on to the 5 points. So basically the same stuff's happened in this episode that happened in the last one, except for one huge major combo play that everyone remembers, including me, of course. Everyone remembers this one. So the first point, Yugi's 5-turn promise in the old days. If you guys remember the 5-turn promise he makes Panic, that he'll beat him in 5 turns. In the last episode, comes to fruition here, but it used to trick me when I was a kid. It kind of fooled me because when he does the 5-turn promise, I didn't understand how the turns worked in the old days. I figured he meant his turns wise, like 5 of his turns, but really it was 5 turns total. So between him and Panic, and each person takes a turn, obviously. So in 5 turns total, which is way less time than I originally thought it was, half the time actually, he will beat Panic. And that's what he did. He beat him in the 5 turns like he promised. Of course, he didn't even activate the swords until the 3rd turn. So, and once it went out, it was over. But we'll get to that in a second. So that's the first point. It used to fool me. The second point. This was always funny to me, and a few duelists do this against the Pharaoh. Panic's overdramatic reaction to drawing the King of Yami Makai card. He's like, oh, ha, 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 ha. This beast will win the entire match for me. Oh my gosh. King of Yami Makai is a decent card, especially on the field he plays. It's stronger than Art Magician because the boost got it to 2600. But still, it's not like on the level of Blue Eyes. I don't know why. I guess Panic's not used to facing Blue Eyes type monsters, so he can beat trash with that decent monster. But come on, Panic. People have much stronger cards than that in their deck, and that's your boss. So that's the second point. I always thought it was really funny how he reacted to that. So, and the third point, the move, like on the same move that I was just talking about, where he draws the King of Yami Makai, the move where he attacks with the King of Yami Makai, but the attack doesn't hit the target. It actually hits the Reaper of the Cards that was bound by Spellbinding Circle. And the way Panic explains it, Yugi doesn't even need to explain it. Panic explains it. And he's like, no, your Spellbinding Circle drew Yami Makai's Energy Blast in, like he drew his Energy Blast in with his light. This is all about the Duel of the Lights. Yeah, and of course Panic took a crap ton of damage. It got him down to, what was the damage? It was very specific. This duel had some of the most specific damage done and life points. Like, I remember Yugi was at 1606 for a long time in this duel. And Panic was like 494 points after this misplay he did. So, very funny life point countings to me. I still remember him to this day. I still remember, like I said, I did that off of pure memory. So that's the third point. The fourth point. Sorry, I can't talk today, guys. The fourth point. Of course, what everyone knows and what I have to talk about, the famous Gaia, the Dragon Champion, Catapult Turtle combo the Pharaoh pulls off. Of course, everyone remembers where he summons the Catapult Turtle, fuses Gaia the Dragon Champion, and then puts the Gaia the Dragon Champion on the Catapult Turtle, so Catapult Turtle can catapult it, launch it, into the castle of Dark Illusion's flotation ring. The flotation ring falls off. Nothing happens yet. Panic thinks he's won, but then when the swords expire, the Pharaoh does a thumbs down. He's like, your final turn is over, or something like that. And he's like, no one defeats Panic. And that was a very dramatic scene, and I loved it, especially the part where I just said, where no one defeats Panic. And he's like, your time is up. So dramatic. And of course, his monsters can't get out of the way because of a card he played earlier called Chaos Shield, which is Yellow Luster Shield in the real life game, but I call it Chaos Shield. Anytime I play it on Legacy of the Duelist, I'm like, oh, there's Chaos Shield. So yeah, the Chaos Shield stops his monsters from escaping, which means the castle crashes down and destroys all three of his monsters, Barox, King of Yamimakai, and what's that other one? Dark Chimera. All weird attack point monsters. So he probably took, I don't know. I don't really know how that damage will work. I guess he would take the full damage of those monsters. Or who knows, it could be half. You never know, because Weevil took damage from Mirror Force, so he's definitely took a crap ton of damage from that. So yeah, it takes him down to 0. He loses. Of course, he cheats, puts a literal blazing inferno and tries to kill the Pharaoh. He just does a huge blazing inferno. And of course, it doesn't touch the Pharaoh because this puzzle protects him. But my question is, how does Panic survive that? It surrounded the entire arena, and he didn't have a single scratch on him. But that's beside the point. Just hilarious stuff I love about this show. This show will always prove to me that is my favorite show. I can always go back and watch it and say, yep, that's why it was my favorite show. Almost every episode. So yeah, that's the 4th point. The catapult turtle combo. The 5th point. And the final one, this marks the last time, and this is true, I believe, the last time the Pharaoh ever mind crushes anyone, any opponent. He did it to Kaiba. He did it to, who am I missing? He did it to Kaiba, he did it to Ghost Kaiba, and he kind of did it to Bakura, and he did it to Panic. And after this, he does not mind crush a single other opponent. Yeah, so he just kind of quit on it, I guess, because I don't know. There's no explanation why he quit it. I guess because his duel with Kaiba soon after and Yugi changing his personality, I guess, a little bit, made the Pharaoh not want to mind crush anyone. That makes sense to me. So I'll go with that. I don't know. That's my headcanon. So that's the 5th point. The rating for this episode, it's a little lame, I know, a little bland, but it's the same as last episode, 7 out of 10. The reason, because it's a 2-parter. It has a very similar vibe to the first part. Very similar. Just Panic cowering, doing cowardly things, and the Pharaoh calling him out on it and revealing his cowardice with his combos. So 7 out of 10. The MVP, again, the Pharaoh. It has to be, because he's MVP of both episodes. This whole duel in general. The trash talk was superb. Completely superb in this duel. One of my favorite trash talking duels. Only 2 or 3 other duels are higher on the trash talking list. And that's a high honor. So, yeah, 7 out of 10. The MVP of the episode is the Pharaoh. Those are my 5 points. I'm glad to be back, guys. Really glad I can draw again really well. And I hope to see you guys in the next one, episode 16, which is one of my personal favorite episodes, The Scars of Defeat. And it marks the first time Joey loses, and really we get to see more on Kaiba. So that'll be fun, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Enjoy the rest of this one. Bye.